Hi, Cappies. Happy birthday season. Welcome to your solar return reading. I think I promised this last year and I never got around to it, but this year we're really doing it. We're going to be looking at your energy for your year ahead starting now as you step into the next personal cycle. So, for this reading, I'm going to be pulling one card for each of the 12 astrological houses. So, we can really see how different areas of your life are being activated this year. Things like relationships and career, finances, home, personal growth, your spiritual path, that kind of thing. After we go through the houses, I'm going to be pulling three additional cards, one to reflect what you accomplished over the last year, one to highlight any residual challenges or lessons that you may be carrying forward into 2026, and then one final card to reveal the goal that Spirit would most like for you to focus on and accomplish this year, which might be different than your personal goal. That's okay. Um, that doesn't mean that you have to abandon your personal goals. We'll talk about that. Um, think of this reading as a roadmap rather than a prediction. Um, Guidance themes and energies you can work with as you move through your birthday year is a better way to look at it. So it's not set in stone what I say. It's just like a little bit of a roadmap. You have uh, the choice to go the straight path or take your own detours. Um, as always, take what resonates and leave the rest, right? So if you're ready, we can take a look. Oh, so before we start, I've chosen, I got this cute votive holder. It's a crown for your birthday. Um, and I chose a red votive candle for you because our birthstone, well, one of them anyway, is granite. It's the one that I always identified with as a Capricorn. Um, so, so, um, let's see, hold on. So, garnet represents emotional balance, protective energy, and groundedness. It could also like bring in love and commitment and that kind of thing, but courage. Um, so courage, groundedness, that's very representative of Capricorn. Emotional balance, all the things that a Capricorn embodies and really needs to go through their life. Anyway, so I don't have any garnet stones. You think I would? I used to have garnet jewelry. I don't know where they are. Anywho, here is your red candle to represent garnets. Um, so instead of doing the traditional blowout candle ritual, I'm going to do lighting ritual. So you can pause it right now and think about your goals and aspirations, your wishes, so to speak. And as you look at the candle, and I will light it for you, and you can put all your wishes into the candle. And if you think about a new wish later, you can come back and watch the lighting again and infuse that into the candle. So, no worries. So, here we go. Go ahead and pause. So, let it be. And so it is. As above, so below. So, Happy birthday, Cappies. I hope you're having a good one. So, our first card is going to be um, our self image, how we view ourselves. Hmm. I know that's right. Reversed? No. Very strong. So, how you view yourself. I love this so much, Capricorn. I'm trying to gather my thoughts and to match my feelings right now. Because just really quickly, guys, I want you to understand the collective energy that I'm getting right now, mixed with my own thoughts that reflect on my own life and my own feelings about it because I am a Capricorn sun. Whew. Look, guys, I've been saying it for many, many months, and you could say years now, how things are coming to a close and there is a new rebirth, right? And some of you who have been with me from the very beginning at the end of 2023 um, are probably rolling your eyes because Grasshopper is forever talking about this rebirth. But what this says is that when you look at yourself in the mirror, you are starting to see a new person emerge. There is a lot that we've put to bed in the past handful of months. Relationships, habits, especially the habits in relationship as they relate to relationships, right? Allowing others to have too much rope, right? Tolerating too much. But then um tolerating certain toxic cultures. You know, a lot of us have exited toxic cultures at our workplace that we have realized as we look back on it, like, man, I stayed too long. Like, what was that about? Let's not beat ourselves up about that. Let's look at it more like, whew, like that was a long stretch. What are we taking from this moving forward? What did we learn? And how is that going to help us moving forward? I can think of a million ways and a million tools that I've gathered that I'm putting to practice as we speak. I think I've mentioned it in earlier videos where I've come across new people in my life. Like I've already started the new karmic challenges, right? Like, let's see how Capricorn is going to deal with the same old situations that I've been uh, giving her through the past few years. Let's see if she's, whether she's going to tolerate this or she's going to shut it down the way she's supposed to. I absolutely have. There are a couple of things in my life that I've shut down within 2 weeks of coming into the new energy. Like, oh, no, no, no. Too many red flags. I'm shutting this down, right? You've noticed that, like, wow, I used to, if this were the old um, Cappy, I would have been gaslighting myself straight into a deeper, diving deeper into this toxicity, that kind of thing. You've put an end to all of that you know does not serve you. You can be proud of this, Capricorn. Don't stop congratulating yourself for this death. Our second card is our money, our finances, and what we value in life, the physical things we value in life. Spirit, tell us about our finances for this solar return. Hmm, what is that? Yeah, Two of Wands. Twos are about choices, okay? Wands are action. This is choice of action that has served us in this past year. Um, and I feel like some of you are still like in fugue mode, in wiping your brow. Like you feel like these are choices that yes, you chose to do, but in a way you felt forced to make the choices. But we can think of them as gentle nudges from the universe and from Saturn. Um, the Saturnic nudges are a little bit more forceful than you know, the general spirit ones. The way I see it anyway. Um, but anyway, this could be rearranging your finances, cutting out expenses, that kind of thing. Um, Cutting back on spending, choosing to take a different course with your income, with finding a new job or uh, redirecting your 401k, starting to invest or change your investments. Um, the odd thing is that this is very not a natural thing to say about Capricorn, but I feel it bubbling up. Where I want to say um, a lot of Cappies have been more aggressive in their investments or pursuit of them. Like you may not have set it in stone, like actually bought the stocks yet. Some of you have, but your research has become more creative, right? Where it's less like, and I'm not going to get too much into this, but it's what I feel like less blue chip type things and treasuries and more like, hmm, AI is starting to grow. Let's look at that. That kind of thing where the choice that you have made excites you. It's It's more than just you feeling like secure. There's excitement that I feel here. So, and that's the kind of thing that I feel like Capricorn and most earth signs can handle. We're not like the Aries where, Aries needs to be careful of the stocks that Aries chooses because, you know, who knows what's going to happen. Like we're taking a risk, but within reason and with caution and a good amount of research to back it up. We're not listening to the guy, our friends or the guy next to us, in a restaurant talking about a hot stock. We're like actually looking at stocks and looking under the hood. Um, so yeah, some of us are also trying to figure out. Um, there's like basic things like buying houses and that kind of thing, or trying to pay off our mortgages. But some of you guys are looking at second homes as well. Um, at the very least, it's a desire. Like I would really like a pied a terre here somewhere, second house in the country, or like I said, pied a terre in the city, that kind of thing. Like you're looking at a second dwelling. Um, our third card is how you are learning and communicating. Your third house, not reversed. The Queen of Wands. I love to see this. I like this fire here. The Queen of Wands is all about optimism and creativity and like a rational fearlessness. She's not reckless in any way, but she doesn't let anything get in the way of her desires. If she hits a speed bump, she's like, "Oh, oops. Oh well, keep going." Nothing derails her. Um so this is how you are um applying your desires and your excitement for the future in what you are learning. And AI is very, very big in my head right now. And really, to be honest, guys, AI has not come up in any of the readings that I've done at, I don't think ever. Um, but I feel like Cappies are really paying attention to AI, which is I think it's actually natural for Capricorn because we are noticing that it is going to be a part of our lives. And Capricorn is very observant. Mm? One of our traits are standing, we're the ones at the party, standing in the corner, observing everyone, right? With our notepad too. We are taking notes and, really extracting the information that we can here. And AI has really come to our attention. Um, I suppose that's going to be true for me. That's not quite true for me in my life, but that's what I'm reading in the collective. It's true. I've like tried out Chat GPT and that kind of thing, and done a few AI things. um, like come up with generated images here and there, but I haven't really done any uh, research yet, but I hear about it more and more, and I keep telling myself that I need to pay attention to it. But some of you are far ahead of me and are even looking at AI stocks and that kind of thing. And I suppose I should do that as well. Um, how you're communicating with others. So here's what's interesting. And I have brought this up a few times. Wow, we already at 20 minutes? Wow, I've really been chatty. All right, well, settle down, guys. You want to pause this video and grab your snacks because this is going to be a long one, it seems like. Um, uh, and let me know, by the way, whether you enjoy the longer readings or you'd like for me to shorten them or whatever. But I feel like solar return is pretty important, so we're going to take our time with this one. Um, the way you're communicating with others is different than what you used to. There is more supportive, optimistic, um, loving, friendlier. I think as Capricorns, we are starting to realize that we're not the only ones struggling. Um, and we notice also that other people are having it or dealing with it not as well as we are. We know that it's more difficult for us, but like if they were walking in our shoes, they would crumble, obviously. But what they're going through is difficult for them. So we're taking that into account and we're trying to bring optimism and we're being called forth to to lead people and help people through their difficulties. Not that we're taking responsibility for them, but wherever we can reasonably be in service to others, we are doing so because it is going to be coming up more and more in this year. We're going to see that contrast that I just mentioned more and more, and we're going to be called to shed our light and our love, right? It sounds corny and overly sappy, but you guys will see. Um, so your fourth house is home, and where we what makes us comfortable, you know, home and close relationships type energy. Hanged man, that's interesting. So hanged man is um a different perspective on things. So this can be many, many things for many Capricorns, right? A change in perspective in homes. So this can be renovations. This can be realizing, certain things that you have to rearrange in your house so that you can be more comfortable. Um, some of you might be realizing that the home that you're living in is no longer suited for you as well. And this is nothing to feel nervous about. This is more of a happy feeling, an exciting feeling, right? Because you've got fire here and optimism. So this is like Um, Kind of the notion coming to you like, oh, maybe I should move. And then you find out, you see a video or some kind of news segment on how this up and coming neighborhood has great restaurants and, you know, the things that you're looking for near the water or something. And it excites you and stimulates you to look into it further, right? So, yeah. Your fifth house is creativity, children, romance, pleasures. You see? Okay. The judgment card is rebirth, which is very much a theme in Capricorn's life right now. And I'm going to mention it again. Pluto in Capricorn, right? That left us at the end of 2024 so that we were in, and this is a 20-year cycle, right? 20 years Pluto in Capricorn that just ended. Moved into Pluto in Aquarius, that is a more supportive energy. Pluto in Capricorn was destructive and um, felt like wading through quicksand especially for Capricorn. Now Pluto in Aquarius um, is fertile ground to manifest supportive energy, that kind of thing, right? So when we're talking about creative things and pleasures, it is that transition plus our natural Capricorn shift, right? It's said that Capricorn is born is in reverse. We're born elderly, and in the second half of our lives, we transition into childhood, right? Because when we're younger, Saturn is very hard on us, and we have very, very difficult lives, and we're serious children, right? Precocious children, because we're up against all kinds of difficulties. And then when we learn our karmic lessons in the second half of our lives, we transition into childlike wonder, optimism, playfulness, right? So this is awakening you into your second half of your life, being reborn, the judgment card, right? So, pleasures, children. We are the children. And some of you are like, but Capricorn, not all of us are making that transition. How do you know that? We're all different ages. Most of the people who are attracted to my channel are over the age of 35. So my analytics tell me. Um, from the very beginning of starting this channel, my analytics has always been like 35 and up to 65 and beyond, right? So we are middle aged. We are entering the second half of our lives. So the sixth house is um, work routines, our health, self improvement. Is this it? Is this our card? Yes. Reverse strength. Strength really represents our, in your reading anyway, the karmic lessons that we've accumulated that we were talking about before, right? These are the tools that we whip out that helps us resolve issues as easily as and skillfully as possible. right? We're not flustered by them. We're not daunted by them, or at least not the way we were before. We deal with things rationally and calmly, right? And with love and patience, if it applies, right? Our next house is the seventh house. It's relationships and legal issues. I don't think too many of us are, you know, dealing with legal issues, but just in case. Queen of Cups. So, this is very appropriate for Capricorn because the Capricorn collective has been shedding toxicity for this past 20 years. Most of us, because we are light workers, that's another thing that I attract, are light workers to this channel, right? And empaths. So we are a group that have attracted narcissists and sociopaths and all those kind of broken souls into our lives so that we can learn through them. Has not been fun at all. But anyway, we've learned through them, um, and we've learned to how to recognize them and learned, like I said before, not to indulge them and tolerate them, right? So that's what this covered chalice is all about. This is the Queen of Cups has learned through her own years how to protect her heart and her own interests. That's why it's protected in this covered chalice. This is what we have gained and we have learned through the years. We value ourselves. We've learned to put ourselves first, and we've learned how to protect ourselves and not to, you know, wear our heart on our sleeves or hold our heart and out to people in our hands for people to jab swords into, right? I know that's absolutely true for me. And I can look back to um, how I was before and how gullible I used to be to how I am now. You can't put anything past me now. And I know I can probably say the same for all of you. So, our next house is the eighth house of, like, it's also like finances, taxes, death, um, and also sex, death and taxes. Um, this is pretty much the things that we're obligated to do, you know, are like mortgages, taxes, things that we can't avoid that we feel sometimes can be a burden to us, right? So it's come up with the Empress, which it describes us as being comfortable in our own skin, um, gaining a certain amount of confidence and feeling that we have leg room in this area. Like we've learned how um, to deal with it, be creative, and I'm talking about taxes especially. Um, we've learned a lot about like tax deductions. Not really cheats, but things that we're entitled to that we didn't know about before. Creative ways to, um, you know, get more out of our buck type thing. And feeling less intimidated as well. Because things like taxes and mortgages and that kind of thing can feel constricting and daunting. That's not true for us anymore. It's just like, oh, we have to deal with it. We'll deal with it and we'll get past it and make sure we end up on top. So our next house is um our ninth house of travel, um, our higher self, religion, and how we connect spiritually with the world. Ace of Cups, love. This is newfound love and forgiveness because this has definitely been tried throughout the years. People have pissed us off, confused us, hurt us, insulted us, all sorts of things where we had to learn to let it go and find our forgiveness. Because we knew that if we didn't find the forgiveness, we would be poisoning ourselves. Carrying resentment forward is like drinking poison and expecting our opponent to get sick, right? We've learned that. It's resenting your opponent does nothing to them. So, and Capricorns are all about climbing and growth and moving forward. And resentment is very heavy. That's not something that we wanted to carry with us, and we've learned not to. Love is lighter, more supportive. It's like wind in a sail. Our 10th house is um, our career, our reputation, how we are seen by others in life. That's going to be interesting. Knight of Wands. Okay. Yeah, of course. We are seen as go getters, which we are. Capricorns are the ultimate go getters. We are ambitious. Knight of Wands is ambitious. Um, sometimes people can look at us with resentment because we're so ambitious, but, you know, fuck them. Who cares? Um, you can't be concerned with that. But um, I think at the same time, some people at least who have healthier minds and hearts are going to have, a certain amount of appreciation for us because we are leading with more love and patience, um, and generosity. You know, we're becoming less mysterious to people and sharing more and, like pausing to share more of what we know, right? Which makes people feel less intimidated by us and more nurtured by us, which is a new thing for people to feel about a Capricorn because they're used to the serious Capricorn. Now they are starting to meet the childlike wonder Capricorn, which is more playful and giving and loving. So our next house is the 11th. It's like friends and social life, but also your hopes, the tower. Yeah, you damn skippy the tower. I am not at all surprised to see the tower here. What was I saying before about closing out relationships? There is a complete revamping of our relationships that's been happening, toppling like dominoes. And tell me if I'm right in the comments. I bet you at least 50% of us um, have friends that we can count on one hand. Some of us zero because we've closed out almost all of our relationships. We've dumped even family members. And some of that has been, decisions of our own, but also facilitated by the universe. This trumpet over here is like, hey, it's time to close this out because we're departing now. We're going somewhere new, right? So for those of you who are feeling like, I don't think there are too many of us who are like, oh, I'm lonely. Um, but we certainly are aware of the absence of a crowd in our lives like we had before. Um, that is going to change at some point. I'm going to get a clarifier for this card. I'm not going to do a clarifier for all of them, but for this one, um, I think we should. Because this really feels like this, for this year, this energy of change is going to carry into this year. I don't know that it's going to be like, dun, 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 here comes the soul tribe just yet this year. I think we're still preparing for this. There's a lot of still closing out things, I think, but we'll see in a moment. Our last house is the 12th. It's karma, spirituality, the secrets that we hold close to our chests. Hmm, the Fool. Both of these cards are ours? No, just the Fool on top. Okay. For Capricorn, this is uncharted territory that we're going into. Uncharted. Um, the Fool is about taking the leap, the fearless leap, right? So we are earth signs. And I know I keep saying that, and you're probably calling me Captain Obvious, but earth signs are very encapsulated and engrossed in the physical plane, right? And making that climb in the physical plane, um, accumulating wealth, uh, building businesses, that kind of thing. That earth signs don't lead naturally with the spiritual foot, right? Um, the Capricorns that I am speaking to, though, are not your average Capricorns. We are light workers, but we are still earth signs. So even I am, even though I'm engrossed in the spiritual a good deal of the time, and I always was, uh, because of the way I grew up. My mother was also very spiritual. So I grew up with spirituality. Um, I'm also Capricorn, though. So I always feel myself when I go to make decisions, it's always thinking about the practical and the rational. Um, I often have to remind myself to check in with spirit, remind myself not to get worked up and anxious, remind myself to do my spiritual work and my affirmations and meditations. Um, so we are moving into an energy where we are going to feel more stimulated and compelled to do more spiritual practices. This could be taking a meditation course, uh, watching the Healing Grasshopper channel more often, joining the Grasshopper community, right? That is growing. At some point, when I get enough subscribers, we will start doing lives and that kind of thing. But I don't think that now's the time. We'll get there. But I just heard Monroe Institute. Are some of you thinking about the Monroe Institute? You know, taking more spiritual courses. Some of you might be thinking about taking a shamanic journey, where before it might have been in the back of your mind, but you were like, I'll do it sometime in the future, that kind of thing. But now you're actually looking at it more and planning it, um, which is good because we're moving into um, a higher dimension. The veil is thinning, and we feel that. We feel that connection to spirit growing. And if you don't feel that yet, you're going to feel that in this year. Let me know if you feel it already in the comment section, please. I answer every single comment, by the way. Um, and not just with emojis, like really with dialogue. Okay? So tell me what's on your mind about this reading. And if you have suggestions or questions, those are welcome as well. Okay, so before we do the three in the center, we're going to clarify the tower for this is 11, right? For our social lives, which is being revamped here by the tower. Can we have a clarification on the tower, please? Clarification on the tower, please. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, here it is. Not reversed. Okay. So the Two of Swords is the clarity for the Tower. Okay. So yeah. This is not going to be the year of um your soul family arriving, on a big caravan. The Two of Swords is like being uncertain, but in a self-imposed way. Like, oh, I don't know how to resolve this, but the answer isn't as difficult as we imagine it to be. This guy is very much like, oh, I don't know, it's futile. Yeah, no, it really isn't. It's fine. There's an answer, and it's not as, slam shut as he is depicting it. Um, so what does that mean for you? It means that we are going to have a year of cleanup, and there's kind of a building over here of our new healing hearts um, that are going to start to attract our soul family. But it's like buffering, stewing, growing a small spark of an energy that's starting this year. That in the coming years are going to bring Soul Tribe. But for now, we are in a private journey of growth right now. So I hope that you guys don't feel disappointed by this. Um, I don't think that too many of us are. We're just kind of like, okay, Capricorns aren't too concerned with other people a lot of the time. We like to, if there's a place to step up and grow, we are definitely more focused on that, on improving ourselves than being concerned with others. But um, those of you who are disappointed by this, don't be, or, don't feed that thought and emotion. Let's just focus, like I said, focus on the growth. And as you turn towards that and focus more on the growth, this feeling is going to dissolve. It's fine. Okay. So now we're going to have um, three of these cards to close out. Our first card is going to be the energy that we have carried, that we've closed out in the past year, that we've accomplished. Yeah, we've already discussed this, right? This is the Six of Pentacles. This is the generosity card, right? Last year we really learned to have more patience and consideration for others. It's really been a year where we've really come to understand that we are very different than others. We are the same in many ways, but we are children of Saturn. We have become hyper aware in the past few years, especially last year, that things are harder for us. We live a more like advanced placement life. And I've used that term a lot. We are in like the PhD in life track than other people, right? And how we are better equipped to deal with things than others. And it's because of Saturn and what Saturn puts us through and how we learn to go through hardship. So it has put us in a position to really be more considerate of others, patient with others, and we are starting to want to help others, which, Cappies, you really have to admit that that's a change in your life. Before, we weren't so necessarily concerned with others and helping others because we're so consumed with our own lives. But we are starting to um, understand where we can be of service to others. So that's what was brewing last year. So let's see what the challenges are that we're carrying into this year. High Priestess. Is this reversed? No. What did we say about the Fool in our 12th house of spirituality, right? We are taking the leap, right? So that is the challenge, the ongoing challenge that we're bringing into this year. We are growing spiritually. For the first half of our lives, we have been growing materially, and now we are growing spiritually. We have been led by our root chakras and um, our bottom half of our chakras. Now we are working more out of our upper chakras and developing our upper chakras. So our third is our goal and what spirit wants you to accomplish this year, which goes very well with the High Priestess. An ace is some kind of communication from spirit. And this is air, Ace of Swords. So this is air communication from spirit. High Priestess, right? So this is going to be a year of spirituality, of coming into our psychic gifts, of learning how to have a dialogue with spirit, learning to quiet our minds and hearts so we can receive from spirit and hear the messages from spirit, which does not come naturally to a Capricorn sun. And it's going to be easier for some than others, right? Um, I believe it's a little easier for me because number one, that's the way I grew up. But also, I grew up that way because I was placed here by the universe. I am a Pisces rising, right? So a lot of you might have, like Pisces, Scorpio, uh, Cancer in your charts, where you have more intuitive tendencies, and everyone in different areas. But no matter, you could have, a full Earth chart, um, and still be going in this direction because each of us are developing this in whatever capacity that spirit wants us to be in. We all have different roles. And this is going to help us grow into whatever that specific individual role is. And this isn't just, lip service to you guys. You are going to start to notice this. I just got, wow. It was like someone cracked an egg over my head just now. There was like a burst on the top of my head with like cascading tingles. You're going to start feeling this. If you're not feeling it already, and again, let me know if you feel comfortable, if you started to feel this. It is coming. This is a spiritual, what? Year. Oh, that's interesting. Right at the end of the reading, we lost our candle here. It's interesting. Anywho, that's like spirit saying, you know, you got the message. Thank you. Um, okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it informative. I hope that it's uh, ignited some enthusiasm within you because it's going to be a good year. The energy is starting to lighten on us, and we are starting to really grow into a more pleasurable part of our lives. Happy birthday, Capricorn. Don't forget to like, and subscribe. Thank you for all of you who helped me get to 1,000 subscribers, which was my goal for this past year. I got to it right at the end of the year on December 29th. Um, if you're not subscribed yet, please do subscribe. Um, even if you think you are subscribed, have a quick look and see if you really are, because some of you are going to be surprised that you're not. So go ahead and click. It is a very quick gesture, costs you nothing, and really does a lot to help the channel. If you're really inclined to helping me out, please go have a look at my playlists. I have many of them made. They are um, made by zodiac sign, but also there are like timeless and so astrological and pick a cards as well. So choose a list, set it to autoplay, and have it on in the background as you go about your daily tasks or even as you wind down in bed because watch hours are really, really important to help a channel grow. Okay, guys? So, don't forget to hit the notification bell too, because there are a lot of videos coming. Um, and if you missed them, there were already a yearly that I just did, monthlies, weeklies, and there are more coming. So don't miss them. I will speak to you soon, Cappies. I love you all. Love, light, and many blessings.